Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and the upcoming segment is from our full Fast Break podcast that we recorded. And if you do want to check out that full podcast, head over to Blog Talk Radio /The Fast Break. You'll be able to find the full podcast over there.
This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And it's a Christmas podcast. It's a Christmas cast, right?
Christmas cast?
Christmas
I guess
cast.
we're there. We're nearly there.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays to all. We don't want to be, we want to be excluding anybody.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas,
Happy
Crazy Kwanzaa.
Don't forget Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy
And
Boxing Day as well.
Happy Festivus.
The holiday for the rest of us.
And, we should have aired our grievances for this podcast. But anyways, we will be talking about...
Don't forget the human fund.
Yeah, we'll be talking about DeMarcus Cousins in this podcast. Really, does he get a bad rap? Does Boogie get a bad rap? And then we're also going to be discussing a little bit about some trade rumors that have been flying around. The rumor of Brandon Knight possibly going to the Sacramento Kings. Then we're going to be jumping into the Los Angeles Lakers. The discussion of should they trade for a star? Should they keep the young group intact? And then also we're going to wrap this up with some draft talk. 2017 NBA draft coming up. We're near the conference play for college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So we got rid of the big matchups.
Excited.
And we're getting closer and closer to the draft. We'll be talking about our top favorite prospects, probably talk about the top five, and then go in a little bit deeper. But guys, let's jump in. And Ricky, you brought this topic up, and I'm going to go to you first here. DeMarcus Cousins obviously just put up 56 points, was a ridiculous performance. But then, there was obviously stuff after he got teed up, and then obviously the interview as well after. So do you think DeMarcus Cousins unnecessarily gets a bad rap in the NBA?
Well, it's one of those things where I feel like I think of the situation he's in where he gets drafted by a team, which honestly, I'm going to be blunt with it, is shit. And they have terrible management. He's a guy that
we have never talked poorly about the Kings on here before.
He's a guy that comes from in college where Kentucky, all they did was win. And you can tell that, to me, it's like, does he get a bad rap? Maybe I can kind of see it. Some of the things that he does, it's like, okay, maybe you shouldn't do that. But maybe if you look at it, DeMarcus is a guy, he's used to winning. In his NBA career, he hasn't really won much of anything.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's just fed up with it. He just wants to go back to winning because, to me, it looks like he's just a competitive guy at this point.
He's extremely passionate, if one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, too, the technical fouls did get rescinded, and he was allowed back in the game.
Two of them, actually,
yeah, two of them.
overall, after the NBA started to look at it.
Yeah, so, one thing, he does have not only kind of a rap sheet of known for getting suspended, and not suspended, but more getting teed up and getting technicals because of how competitive he is and how he's not really afraid to speak his mind. But one thing as well is we bring up Coach K, and also, Sacramento's just been a revolving door of head coaches, and he really hasn't been having a stable organization there in Sacramento. Dave, what are your thoughts? Does he get a bad rap in the NBA?
I don't think he gets I think maybe we're a little too harsh on him. I think it's pretty accurate, though. It's a guy who, he's very outspoken. He doesn't really hold back on his opinion when talking to reporters, when talking to the media. So if there's a problem, he'll let you know about it. If he disagrees with something that's going on, he will definitely let you know about it. And I think that's one of the things that kind of hurt him a lot with the head coaching changes over the years in Sacramento is that he didn't really have a great connection with any coach after his first year, I want to say. Early on, he was okay, but then it was just like it was downhill. It was all on the downcline for him with the coaching staff. And I want to see him land in a situation that's a good environment for him because Sacramento is not, and I'm a little afraid because of their mediocre success right now that they're going to hold on to him for as long as they possibly can. But this is a guy who clearly has mental issues when it comes to his immediate frustration on the floor And he kind of like that impulse.
Is that about mental issues?
Well, yeah, no, anger. Fine. Yeah. It's an impulse thing though. Like it's something where like if you take like 5 seconds and take a deep breath, you wouldn't have done that. Like they got an additional video from the sidelines of him actually spitting that mouthpiece at them. Like it wasn't an accident. He was just blatantly like, nope, total accident. Don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And one thing too, I mean, and kind of looking for a comparison to, at least not like play type wise and actual performance wise, but you can kind of compare him to Rasheed Wallace, because Rasheed Wallace was in that era of he didn't care what he was going to say. He was always going to be out there. He's always going to be competitive. He's always going to speak his mind. I mean, I remember the tirade he's had after the Boston series. I think it was Game 5. But he lashed out against the officials. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind. But I think one reason why people did look over that, I think it was more of a comical thing with Sheed, was the fact that he was on a winning team. Detroit was always winning. And the fact that you have a great superstar in DeMarcus Cousins, a guy who really doesn't get the recognition he probably should. If he was in a bigger market, he'd probably and Sacramento's still a big market, but if he was,
I think it's also the fact that the NBA has changed and is now a guard league. So being the best big man in the league, as good as you are, obviously you can't carry a bad team to the playoffs as the greatest big man in the game.
And I think the reason why people focus so much on his actions and really not his play, and well, maybe sometimes his actions outshine his play, is because, you need to bring in people. And we're in the age of bringing in people with headlines. And DeMarcus Cousins' outrage is more popular than DeMarcus Cousins puts up 56. I mean, both impressive and both obviously are going to drive in stuff. But I think the one thing is that DeMarcus, if he was playing for a winner, I think it would be less shined, and I think he gets a bad rap in some ways, but I think also he needs to work on his personality.
And not just that, it's when you are, and this goes for anything in life, when you are in somebody's mind painted with a certain image, and for DeMarcus Cousins, I'm going to say it's kind of like a bad boy type of image. Whenever he does something that is wrong, boom, like you said, front of the headlines. I want to actually use what you said, the mouthpiece incident. Let's just compare that to a mouthpiece incident that happened last year in the finals, but with Steph Curry. And how are they different? Well, okay, Steph Curry threw his mouthpiece at a Cavs fan. Did everyone get their panties all in a jumble?
No. He did get teed up, though.
He did get teed up, but we didn't have the same reaction as maybe we did with Boogie, because everyone likes Steph Curry.
Well, and also
Steph Curry's one of the NBA.
Steph Curry's a gamer,
but he's
looked at as the golden boy in the NBA, where DeMarcus Cousins is not.
But also Steph Curry, I mean, he doesn't also have the history. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins does have the history of getting fouled up. But no, I understand.
When you get that image placed upon you, it doesn't matter what comes after. It's you did it, you were wrong. Whereas Steph Curry was, he didn't mean it.
Well, yeah,
he didn't mean it.
Steph is seen clean cut. I mean, he's there's a big focus on his family, big focus on his daughter. Where with DeMarcus Cousins,
and
he's the guy.
I'm not trying to say Steph is a bad guy. I'm just using both situations.
No, I think you should probably say that we don't think DeMarcus is a bad guy. I think he does get a bad rep. Because he's on a team that isn't winning, and then people think, well, if he's performing better and he's not really focusing on outside stuff, maybe this team would be a better team. But really, I mean, he's not getting a lot of help, and we've talked about this before.
I'm with you on that. I feel like even though he can vent his frustrations, and he's either seen as like a goof or as a guy who is way, way, way too taking insults on the court seriously, he's still giving you everything he's got when he's out there. He's not half-assing it any more than any other guy on the court. He just tells you about it more than anybody else will. I love the fact that he goes in after a game, after dropping 55 or whatever, and starts ripping the other centers. It's like, what, you thought they could seriously defend me? Not a fucking chance. I love that. I want that to be more part of the NBA game today. I think it's gotten too everybody's buddy with each other, and there's just he brings a certain level of I don't want to say hatred, but a definitely clashing of personalities to it.
It kind of goes back to what we used to see, especially when we were kids, where we would see guys go on and be like, "What? This guy? He can't guard me."
Exactly.
You think AI would go up there and say, "Yeah, you know what, Kobe? He's a respectable gentleman." No, he'd be like, "Boy, what? That guy out there, he can't guard me.
Can't even tie my sneakers."
Talking about practice.
But even one thing too is you could see that in game DeMarcus is different, because even with the New York Knicks in Sacramento game where it was a really tight game, and DeMarcus Cousins had a big steal against Joakim Noah, you could see that there was a little tension there between them in the game. But right after it stops, Joakim and Boogie are hugging and just laughing. So that's one thing where Boogie might let his emotions get ahead of him in a game, but I think if you're looking at this, if you have a coach that can, one, reel him in, and then two, he's on a winning team, I think that a lot of these problems that people bring up will go away just because there won't be so much as a focus on that. And the only way it will become a focus is if it does cost that winning team games.
Well, and unless it's something that literally crosses a line, to me, I feel like guys in the NBA know, you know what, we're all competitors. That's why we're a part of the NBA. That's why we do what we do. So it's exactly what you said. They're in the game, they're competing, and then once it's over, it's boom, you know what? It's turned off. Hey, good game, this and that. I mean, we look back to, I just think when you were saying that, like, in the game it could get chippy, but then after they turn it off, I mean, think about Reggie Miller, when you would go back and watch the 30 for 30 on that, he was a guy that's like, you know what? That night before, he'd look up stuff to try to do a little trash talking while he was defending you to throw you off their game.
Yeah, and I mean, I just want to put this out there that, look, Cousins is having one of his best year of his career right now. He's dropping 29 points a game, over 10 rebounds, and I think most impressively, shooting 37% from behind the three-point line, 45 overall. Like, he is a dynamic player in the NBA, and I think that his outspokenness definitely gets the best of him when it comes to the image, and I think he should be in the running for more of these awards and more positive praise around him.
Definitely be making an all team because I don't think he did he get snubbed last year?
He got snubbed.
He should have been first team because DeAndre made first team.
Yep.
And like the last thing I'll say is, like, you even look at Coach K when he was on Coach Cal's podcast. He even said for him to come back and want it, talking about the Olympics, it said a lot about how much he wanted to do it. He came through big time for us. He's tough as hell. He's so damn talented. I don't think he has a position. You can't call him a 5 or a 4. Just call him a great player. And quote, just that kind of praise from a coach that's highly, like Coach Cal and then Coach K, two of the best coaches in college basketball right now. One coached them, and the other one gives them this kind of praise.
Yeah, and obviously DeMarcus Cousins is a great player. Thank you. Oh, shit. Oh, it's just one of our videos scared me a little bit. Don't forget to check out that one. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.